Hi, I'm Mary Jane Arrington, Osceola County Supervisor of Elections. Our office, the Osceola County Elections Office, is in charge of all elections in Osceola County. This includes the city of Kissimmee, St. Cloud, and all special districts.
My name is Cagnon. I'm a resident here in Osceola County, and I just had a little bit of time with Mary Jane here to ask her some few questions about getting involved in our community development districts here in Osceola County. My first question for you would be, how do I get involved with the CDD that's in my community?
If your community is a CDD, which there are 45 in Osceola County, you can attend your CDD meetings. You can vote for your representatives on your CDD board, or if you really want to get involved, you can run to sit on the CDD board.
If I wanted to run for a seat on my board, what requirements would be in place for me to run?
We encourage anyone who is thinking about running for the community development district in which they live to contact our office, the elections office, and we are going to give you a packet, a purple packet, with all the necessary paperwork and instructions you need to run. The election for the next 3 seats, or 2 seats, depending on which CDD board you are on, will be next November 8th. CDD boards always are on the November ballot. So you would need to come into our office sometime prior to the week of June the 13th through the 17th. That's what we call qualifying week. And during that time, you must file the necessary paperwork to run for a CDD seat. If you can have 2 ways that you can qualify. One is by petition. You must get 25 of the registered voters in your CDD to sign a petition saying that you are qualified to run, or you may pay $25. If you want to go the petition route, you must have those petitions into us by May the 18th, so we have time to review those and make sure they're valid prior to qualifying beginning. So once you qualify, then you are ready to campaign for the seat which you have chosen to run for.
So it sounds like we have a couple of key dates. May for petitions, June to make sure that you're qualifying, and then November is obviously the election with our general elections.
And you must qualify during that week to be able to have your name on the ballot. You can't be a minute late. At 12 o'clock on Friday, it ends. So that date is extremely important.
So you would say by first week in May or so, if I was interested in running for a seat on my board, I should probably stop by your office and get all my information.
Definitely. First week in May gives you a little breathing room, and they also gives you time to know how you want to proceed.
Great. Once I fill out all this paperwork, I have my ballot in there. Where does it show up? What time of year does it show up on, or where should I look for that in terms of ballot? Is it special, or is it with kind of everything else?
Your CDD is a precinct, and so your precinct will have its own ballot if there are more than one person running for a seat. If you don't have any opposition, you're automatically elected to a seat. So your name will not appear on the ballot. But if you have your name on the ballot, it will be on what we call the general election ballot, the ballot that has the president or the governor, depending on which cycle we're on. Your name will be towards the end of the ballot because special districts go towards the end of the ballot. It is a nonpartisan race, so you do not run with a party affiliation. No party affiliation is shown on the ballot. And so you need to go. You'll be on the end of the general election ballot, which will be the election in November.
Who can vote for CDD? Is there a restriction? Do I have to own property within that CDD, or do I just have to reside?
Any registered voter in that CDD can vote. So you don't have to be a property owner. As long as your domicile is there and you are registered to vote at that address within the CDD, then you are permitted to vote in that race.
Right, so that's a little bit different than HOA rules.
Right.
So as long as I have my registered voter at that address, I can participate in our CDD.
Right.
Perfect, great. On larger scale voting, if I wasn't registered in Osceola County but resided here, how would I go about getting registered to vote?
Registering to vote is easy as long as you have a Florida driver's license or a Social Security number. You can go online, go to voteosceola.com, and there is a button there that says register to vote. That's the easiest way, and if you have already got a Florida driver's license, we take the signature that you have signed at the DMV and use that as your signature. If you do not have a signature on file with the DMV, then you will have to mail the application in to us. The application looks like this, and you also can come by our office, register at the DMV, the library, lots of places. Walmart has applications out, or you can go online and print an application and mail it to us or drop it by.
So tons of ways to get involved and register for voting.
You must be registered 29 days prior to the election to be able to vote. So if you're going to vote in the November 2022 election, you're going to have to be registered to vote around October 9th.
Good date to have in mind. And then once I'm registered to vote, what are the different ways that I can vote for different seats?
We make voting easy in Osceola County. There's always 3 ways to vote. You can request a mail ballot. 50% of our voters in Osceola County choose this to vote. We also have 2 weeks of early voting starting 14 days before the election. We have 8 sites throughout the county, and you can vote at any early voting site. And then on election day, you must vote at your precinct, the polling location where your precinct is.
And if I didn't know where my polling location is, where could I find that information?
You have a voter information card that we mail you once you register to vote. It should be on there. Everyone this year will be receiving a new voter registration card because we're going through redistricting, and some precincts and districts might change. But we will have that out to you by the late spring of this year, or you can go on our website and it says check your voter status, and it shows you if you're registered, the address that we have you registered at, and where your polling location is.
Perfect. That was my next question. If I didn't know if I was registered, where would I go? So it sounds like that county website has a lot of information there for us. So now that I've gotten all this information, what are some of the results of me getting involved with my community, either through voting or maybe a CDD election or any of those different locations?
Well, voting is your voice, and if you choose not to vote, then you don't have a voice. So that is important. But the more of us that are involved in our community, no matter how we are involved, makes our community a stronger, better, healthier community. So I encourage everyone not only to vote, but to also become involved in your community.
You have any advice for our community members out there in Osceola County about their voting?
I want everyone to vote. If you're eligible, I want you to vote. We hope you have a great experience, and if you don't, we need to hear from you because our job is to make it better and easier for everyone to vote who is qualified.
Great. And if I wanted to be involved in the election process or the voting process, how can I get involved with that?
Well, number one is to become an educated voter, learn about the candidates and issues on your ballot, and then I would recommend that you become an election worker. Every election cycle, our office hires 400 to 500 community residents to help us put on the election. The 17 of us in this office cannot provide an election for 250,000 voters without community help. We pay, not enough, but we do pay. But also you'll learn so much about elections that you never knew. So I encourage everyone to help us put on elections and become an election worker. Again, you can do that by going to our website, voteosceola.com, and sign up to be an election worker. And as the election comes closer, we'll be contacting you about coming to orientation.
Sounds like a great way to get involved in our community.
It is a great way.
I can thank you for your time. Any advice or any words you want to leave with our community here in Osceola County?
Well, I want to thank you for contacting us today and giving us the opportunity to talk about CDDs and how we get involved in the election process. If you have any questions, email us or give us a call at 407-742-6000. Anyone on our staff will be more than willing to help you with any questions you might have. Again, thanks.